You can unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself and you can say about your opinion.
Hi, Chaitanya. Good morning, call.
Hi, Dinesh. Good morning.
Hi, Chaitanya. I have a overall some years of experience in Oracle PL/SQL developer, actually. In moving forward, I need to be known some cloud technologies like AWS or Azure. So even there is a more opportunity in AWS projects in my company, actually. So I'm looking forward to move on. That's why I'm just plan to do the AWS.
Okay.
And it will be helpful for my career also.
Yeah, fantastic. So the question again I would like to ask you here is just very simple. What are your expectations? Expectations towards learning this AWS course? What you think you will have in this AWS sessions?
Sorry, can you come again, Chaitanya?
What are your expectations towards this AWS sessions? What you feel that you can have in these sessions? I mean, what do you think about the syllabus and all the things? Do you
The
have
overall
any?
view. Yeah, actually, I'm not aware of the AWS actually initially actually. So
Okay.
I'm just I'm expecting the overall view and how the approach will be.
Yeah, fantastic. Anyways, nice answers. Nice answer, Vignesh. So we will go further into the topic and discuss what we are going to discuss in this AWS course, and we will go further into the topics. Now,
Sure.
yeah. Uh, First of all, whenever we are learning about on any course, first you need to understand why we have to learn the course, what is the necessity of learning this. So AWS is a cloud technology which will be like infrastructure based. Okay. So infrastructure based in the sense developer can do that. Of course, the developer can do that. Database engineer can do that. So DBA, DBMS, everyone can do that. So what is this AWS? AWS it is a tool that will make you understand about not only understanding. AWS is a tool which will make an infrastructure for you. So what is this infrastructure? Infrastructure in the sense, suppose if you want to deploy any application, so any application, if you want to deploy inside the servers, okay, first of all, you need to understand how servers will be created. So AWS will give you the privileges that within a short span of time, you can create your servers. Not only the servers, you can create your databases, you can create your applications also very fast. You can create the applications very fastly. So AWS is a service, not only AWS, any cloud, either it might be Azure, it might be GCP, it might be Oracle Cloud, VMware Cloud, any cloud will give you a privilege that within short span of time you can you can create, you can deploy the applications and you can access the applications. So why we have to learn this course? Why we have to learn this course? Why the reason behind this is, if anybody are trying to develop their own applications within short span of time and a limited period, limited cost, with the limited cost, if at all, if your company is a newly established company, okay, so any newly established company is there and it want to have its own access. So if it want to purchase a server, for example, if I want to purchase a physical server will cost me around somewhere 3 to 4 lakhs rupees. Only the physical server will cost me. So again, the server validity will be there for only 5 years. And after 5 years, again, I need to verify. I mean, what I want to do, I need to do some modifications into the server. I need to manage the server. I need to replace the components of the server. So these are the some hurdles. These are the some limitations that we will go through the physical servers. So we will discuss about what is this physical server, how a physical data center will be looking like, and why we are migrating to the cloud, and how a data center will be looking like, and what is this virtual cloud concepts. Everything we will discuss. But before that, let me introduce myself. I am Chaitanya. I will be your trainer for the next couple of months. Actually, I have to say next 10 weeks we are going to learn about this AWS concept. But this first week is the demo week for you. So this Saturday and Sunday will be the demo sessions for you, where you are going to learn about some of the basics of Linux. I'm saying the basics of Linux, not complete in-depth analysis of the Linux. What are the requirements of Linux to learn AWS? Of course. See, first of all, I want to show you what is the path of learning a cloud technology. How can we learn the cloud technology? So, whenever if you are trying to learn the cloud technologies, the first thing that you have to understand is Linux. So it is very important for you to learn Linux. Why? Because 90 to 95% of the cloud workloads, whatever the applications or else whatever the servers that we are using, 90% of the cloud servers are Linux servers. So among those, Windows servers are very less. When you compare with Linux to Windows servers are very less. But Windows servers are very helpful to configure Active Directory configurations. We will discuss about that in later on sessions. But as of now, if you see here, Linux is very important for you to learn AWS. Okay, not only AWS, for any cloud. Sir, what is that? Azure will be depending on the Microsoft servers. Of course, Azure is a cloud of Microsoft. That means all the servers in the Azure are not Windows servers. So Azure is also having the Linux integration. So whatever the servers that you are deploying in the Azure also have the same Linux setup and as well as the Windows. So both the combination of Linux and Windows. But Azure is also the maximum workloads in the Azure are also from the Linux servers itself. So Linux servers are very helpful for you to deploy some of the applications like web applications. So it is very helpful for majority number of the companies are choosing Linux only. So it is very important for you to understand the Linux basics. Linux basics in the sense, uh, just basic commands, guys. Not we don't go for in-depth analysis. Why? Because it is not required for you. So administrator level, DHCP, DNS configurations, LDAP configurations inside the Linux missions. These are all not necessary for you. Just the basic concepts are necessary. So today and tomorrow we will discuss about the basics of Linux, and then we will be going further into the networking concepts. Of course, networking is also very important. What is meant by IP address and how to configure the IP address and what is meant by a network. Why we have to learn this? Because if you go to the AWS, if you when you go into the AWS concepts, inside the AWS there is a concept called as VPC. So not only the VPC concept, if any external user want to communicate with the servers, any external user in the sense, I am the client, I am sitting inside the Hyderabad location or else Chennai location, Bangalore location, either you might be sitting in Pune location, any location. So my server will be created, whatever the servers that I want to deploy in AWS, all the servers will be available somewhere all around the world. Some servers can be available in North Virginia region, US, and some servers will be available in London location. Some servers will be available in Mumbai location. Some servers will be available in Tokyo locations. Like that, we can have multiple servers in multiple locations. So we will be sitting in a central point of either it might be in your office or else you can sit in your home. Wherever you are having the internet, you can sit over there. And just from your home or office, you can connect to all the servers. How this connection is happening, how we are making the communication with the servers. Sorry, these things you can learn by understanding the networking concept. What is meant by network and what is an IP address, what is a private IP, what is a public IP. These are all the concepts which you need to understand, and then you need to have a brief understanding about subnetting. All this concept you will understand. Okay, so these things we will learn in this two demo sessions. Like this week and next week we will learn about Linux and networking, or else networking and Linux, either the way. Okay, once you understand these concepts, then first of all you have to have a briefing of Linux, and after that either you can learn AWS or Azure. I'm not forcing you to have a knowledge on AWS. Why? Because you are attending to the AWS sessions. Whatever your interest is, learn either one of the cloud technology. Either it might be AWS or else it might be Azure. Okay. Once you have a brief understanding about this, so many will ask me that which will have the more opportunities. Both the clouds are having the equal opportunities, but upon that, AWS is having some 10 to 20% of edge. Okay. So both are having the opportunities, and a little bit edge is there for AWS. Okay, so it is better to learn both. I'm not specifically saying that. Why? Because if 100 jobs are there, or else there is a company, among the company, some projects might be same company, among the same company, some projects might be running on AWS and some projects might be running on Azure. So I am not specifically saying that these projects are running on AWS, or else you have to learn. Why? Because all the companies and all the projects are running on AWS. So some projects might be running on AWS, some projects might be running on Azure. So my recommendation is that you have to learn the both clouds. It is very, very important. Once you are learning this, then you can go for the DevOps. Okay, without learning, what I can say, without learning the cloud computing, cloud technologies, don't go for the developer operations. Okay, it is very important to understand the AWS and DevOps. Directly learning DevOps is like writing an intermediate exam, or else writing a degree exam without passing 10th and intermediate, without having a basic knowledge on the subjects. So in the same manner, learning DevOps without knowledge of cloud is very, very difficult for you. And so it is my recommendation to learn cloud, and after learning the cloud, go for the DevOps. Okay, some candidates who are very intelligent, they are going for the DevOps directly, as they are asked by their friends, or also they are said, somebody will say that learn DevOps, it will be helpful for your career. So directly they will be jumping into the DevOps. So if at all, if you are jumping into the DevOps, how much fast you jump into the DevOps, at the same time, that much fast only you will return back. Why? Because DevOps is not a concept that can be understandable without having the basic knowledge. So it is very, very important to have the basic knowledge of a cloud. I am not saying that everyone cannot understand DevOps. So without knowledge of cloud, everyone cannot understand DevOps. It's a false allegation. But if you want to understand DevOps, it is very, very important to have the basic knowledge on AWS and Azure. Okay. So then we will discuss about the next one after completing this DevOps. Then we can go for Azure. Here you can learn Azure/AWS, which means that if you learn AWS here, try to learn Azure, and if you complete Azure here, try to learn AWS. So that will be helpful for you. And next, learn Kubernetes, and then if you are still interested to learn, then go for GCP, and finally Python. So end with a coding. So this is the path to learn your cloud technologies. Okay, I have got a chat. See a second, I got a message over here. So what is the message? AWS with DevOps. Very good. That is what I am saying. AWS with DevOps. So whenever you are trying to learn AWS with DevOps, or else, my recommendation is first you have to undergo AWS, and then you can go with DevOps. Okay. And one more thing is that several people will say Azure DevOps, GCP DevOps, AWS DevOps, and like that they are going to specify that there are no such many number of DevOps. Okay. You are having only a single DevOps where you can have some of the concepts like Git, Terraform. So if you want to include Terraform, yes, you can include, or else some candidates, some companies or some institutes will not include Terraform. But my tutorials will be with the Terraform also. Is that Git, Terraform, Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, and Maven, SonarQube, okay, and Prometheus, or else you can go with Nagios, okay. So these are the tools that they will see. So whatever the DevOps that you are learning, all the DevOps will be running out of, all the DevOps will be going through these concepts only. So either it might be Azure DevOps or also AWS DevOps, anything, okay. Raghavendra and Aditya, can you please wait for a while? First of all, understand the necessity, then definitely we will cover the topics, okay. We are just into the beginning only. Don't over smart your courses. Just hold on. We will go with the course content. I am here to explain everything, right? So why DevOps is not my cup of tea to tell about this. Okay, why? Because this is only the AWS sessions, but still I am introducing you to the concepts. Why? Because so many people are unfortunately without having the knowledge, they will be jumping into the DevOps courses. So I'm just giving a small suggestion for you that please learn this. And there might be some institutes which are saying that we are exclusively providing the Azure DevOps. Okay, what is this Azure DevOps and what is this AWS DevOps? What is DevOps? I'm just providing a small briefing about that. If at all, if we are completed with this, then definitely I can share you the course content. What is that? We are discussing about the course, right? Anyways, okay, can you please hold on? I will discuss each and everything. Can you please share the course content? In this course, we'll cover all these topics. No, sir, or only AWS. Yeah. So this is the only AWS course, guys. This is not the DevOps course. Okay. So AWS with the DevOps. It is not an AWS with the DevOps course. It is only the AWS course. So what you are going to learn here? So this is the required content for your DevOps. Now, before jumping into the DevOps, try to learn cloud computing, either any of the cloud computing, either it might be AWS or else it might be Azure. It's completely your wish. Okay. And after that, once you complete the AWS course, then you can go for the DevOps. So now what you are learning in this AWS session. So in the AWS sessions, we are going to learn about the first one is introduction to cloud computing, intro to cloud. Okay. So what is meant by cloud and how many types of clouds are there? Service models, what are the different service models? What is meant by a data center, cloud data center? These are all the concepts that you are going to learn. Once you have understand this concept, introduction to the cloud, then we can dive into the AWS configurations. So creating an AWS account, and then we can go for the first one, that is VPC. Inside the VPC, virtual private cloud, we are having so many concepts like peering. So in VPC, we are having the concepts like peering and NAT gateway, transit gateway, VPN, and then we are having the security groups. These are all the concepts that we are going to cover. So as you want the course content, you can have the course content over here. So introduction to cloud computing, virtual private cloud, VPC, and inside the VPC, you will be having VPC peering, VPC NAT gateway, VPC security, VPN connectivity, transit gateway, and VPC endpoints. These are all the concepts that you are going to learn in VPC. And after that, we will be diving into the EC2 instances. So EC2 services, inside the EC2 services, we are going to learn about what is an EC2 and how to configure EC2 instances and what is meant by AMI, what is meant by a snapshot, and what are the different load balancers that we are having, load balancers like application load balancer, network load balancer, and how to provide the SSL certificate for those load balancers. And then we will be learning about the auto scaling groups. Okay. And later on, we will be diving back into S3 buckets and databases. The databases in the sense, not the clear-cut databases like what is meant by. So here we are not into DBMS. So here I will be saying you about what are the different database services that are available in the cloud. Either it might be RDS, DynamoDB, MongoDB, DocumentDB. These are all the databases that we are going to cover. What are the different database services that are available in the cloud and how to configure those database services. These are the concepts that I am going to cover here. And next one is CloudWatch. CloudWatch in the sense how to monitor your servers. What are the different conditions that we can monitor our servers? How to generate the error logs and how to monitor the servers. If the CPU utilization is more, how to monitor that and how you can get the notifications through simple notification services. These are all the concepts that we are going to cover in this CloudWatch. And later on, we will discuss about IAM, Identity and Access Management, where we are going to discuss about security principles, like how a user is assigned with the set of principles, set of security principles, or a set of security permissions, and what is meant by roles. These are all the concepts that we will cover in the IAM. So AWS migration is a star mark thing, which means that it might be included or else it might not be. It might not be included. Why? Because the equipment that we require to discuss is more than we require a huge servers and I need to have configured the VMware in that. So this is a tricky concept to understand, but yes, if at all possible, I will definitely explain you why, because your course will be 10 weeks of course. So we can complete the AWS migration also, but somewhat we have to hold on for I need to check out the requirement. If at all, if I get the requirement, definitely I will introduce you to the migration also. And then cloud formation. So how we can develop the cloud with the code. Now, as of now, with all these components, whatever the components that we are discussing, all are configured with the manual configuration. Manually, we have to log into the AWS console, and then we have to create the services. Now, when you come to the cloud formation, infrastructure as a code, it is completely infrastructure as a code. We are going to write the code for this cloud formation. By writing the code for this cloud formation, we can create our own VPCs and whatever the required resources we want. All the resources can be developed with the help of code. And the next one is AWS Lambda. So Lambda is a function, like it's like your runtime. So runtime in the sense how to deploy the applications, Python applications, Node.js applications, how to integrate that with the databases. All these concepts you will learn in this Lambda functions. So this is the course content which you are about to learn in the next couple of months, like in the next 10 weeks of sessions, like 20 sessions, whatever the 20 sessions that you are having. And the session timing will be starting at morning 8 o'clock and it will be end at 10:30 a.m. So 2.5 hours of sessions will be there. And the 20 sessions, like 20 sessions or 10 weeks of sessions will be there. Okay, we will be completing all the concepts within 10 weeks, which is 2.5 months, as per my knowledge. Okay, so that's about your course content. If any questions you want to ask me, you can ask me. Okay. Yeah, those the weekdays, Saturday and Sunday. Only Saturday and Sunday. This is a weekend batch. Okay. So only Saturday and Sunday will be the classes. So we will be completing that as soon as possible.
Yeah, good morning, Chaitanya. I have one question.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I'm from testing profile, around 11 years of experience. So it will be helpful for me if I learn AWS in testing domain.
If you are interested towards learning the cloud computing and what happens in the back end, yes, everything will be helpful. Why? Because testing people are also asked to learn the DevOps. Okay,
Yeah.
if you want to understand the DevOps, you need to have the basic understanding about the AWS cloud computing. It is
Oh,
necessary to have the basic understanding about the field.
oh, okay, okay.
Okay.
This means add-ons in it will be add on my resume if I mention AWS cloud.
Yeah, you don't. It is an added asset for you. If you include the AWS cloud computing with the
Mm-hmm.
testing profile, and it will be an added asset for you.
Oh,
Okay.
okay,
Yes,
okay.
you are having 11 years of experience. You will be considered as a what I can say super senior when we
Mm.
go for the companies also. So it
Yes.
will be added asset for you. Yes, you can include that. Not only AWS or AWS, if you try to understand the DevOps also, then that will be helpful for you. Both the concepts. I'm not say specifically saying you to learn cloud, but
Yeah,
yes, if you learn cloud with the AWS, that will be handy for you. Sorry, cloud with DevOps.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. And I got a question here. The question is, Mhm. Sir, can we do the certification after the course? Yes, you can do the certification. And one more thing I want to tell you is that here the notes dictation will not be there, guys. Notes dictation in the sense, uh, what is meant by, so if at all, if I have to say in the theoretical manner, then it will not take more than 3 weeks of sessions to complete AWS, frankly speaking. But whatever the sessions that we are covering, every session will be a practical session. Whatever I am discussing in that practical session, in the practical manner, so that you can prepare the notes from those practicals only. So you will get the videos every day whenever we complete the session. Obviously, you are going to get the videos. So by looking into the videos, you can develop your own notes. So I here providing the notes, it is very typical for me. So see here, first of all, the course will be like this. Everything, whatever we are discussing here, whether it might be VPC. If I have to say about the VPC, there is a single line of definition. What is the single line of the definition for VPC? VPC is a virtual private cloud which is deployed in the public cloud, so that one VPC will be isolated from the another VPC. If at all, if I say that, you will not understand. But if I show you practically, you will understand. What are the sessions that we are discussing? Every session will be a practical session only. Whatever we are discussing, whether it might be cloud compute, whether it might be VPC or also it might be VPC peering. So everything will be a practical oriented session. So by looking into that, you can clearly understand, you can clearly prepare your own notes. So my recommendation is prepare your own notes. And again, coming back to your certification, yes, you can do the certification with whatever the course that we are covering. But one of the concepts that we are not covering, but whether when you go to the certification, it will be there. Like 10% of the marks will be from that particular topic, that is billing, complete billing console. They are going to ask you. So yes, you have to search for billing through the AWS documentation. So you will get the details about the billing. Once you learn about that, I am not specifically saying that you cannot do the certification, but yes, you can do the certification, but your efforts are important. Okay. Efforts in the sense searching for the content, in the sense each and every content I will discuss about that. You don't need to worry. When you go and search for the AWS peering, AWS VPC peering, endpoints, NAT gateway, whatever they are provided in that particular document, that you will see in the practical session only. You can easily understand the theoretical concepts. You don't need to worry about that concept. So whatever you are looking into, everything will be covered in the practical sessions. But only my request from my end is that search for the theoretical concept, so that will be helpful for you to understand more and to write for the certification. So certification, companies are requesting the candidates to have the practical knowledge, and when you go for the certification, you need to have the theoretical knowledge also. So yes, you can complete the certification by taking this course, but your efforts are also necessary. So each and every candidate, every faculty will say that you can complete the certification by learning the course itself. So what you will do, you will join the course and you will learn the course. After learning the course, you will go to the certification. And in certification, at least you require 70 to 80% of the marks to clear the certification, but you will fail to do that. And you will come back and ask the faculty that you have said me that you will complete the certification, but when we go and write the certification, what else when we go and do the certification, we are failed. So why? What happened? So the thing is, faculty, any faculty, if at all saying that you can clear the certification, you can clear the certification depending upon your hard work too. So without your hard work, you cannot complete the certification. Why? Because whatever we are saying here, that those are the requirements of the companies. But for the certification, you need to have the theoretical knowledge. Theoretical knowledge in the sense from some external efforts are necessary for some external search and searching for some content, some extra content which are helpful for you to clear the certifications. Whatever the training that we will provide here, that will clear you up to 60 to 70% of the mark. But for the remaining 10%, you have to search the content. Okay. I hope you understand this. Is there any another queries that you want to ask me? Hope you got the point. Is there any another queries that you want to ask me? You can ask me now. Hope you understand. Any queries, guys? Docs, the best source for you to get the concepts of AWS is docs.amazon.com. If you go over here, see, we are learning AWS. AWS itself is providing each and every document. If I have to tell you about any new concept, I will search in the docs only. So whatever I am searching here, I will present the same. So if you want to learn about VPC, VC2, S3, Aurora, RDS, DynamoDB, so everything is available over here. So you don't need to worry about any further concepts. Okay. Yes. Then we go for the next one. So these are the concepts that you are going to learn in the course. And here, Linux basics, I just want to introduce you to the Linux basics. Linux basics is not right application deployment and all the things, but the basics, basic configurations which are required for you to understand. Okay, so we will discuss about all that. Yeah, thank you. Now, what we are going to learn today. So my agenda is to make you understand. So as you know, this is the path. Today's my agenda is to make you understand what is meant by Linux and what are the different concepts. Actually, this is not including in the course, but my enthusiasm to tell you about the Linux. Why? Because without having understanding towards this Linux course, you cannot work it out. So I would like, I want to make sure that you will learn the Linux course. So first of all, we will learn some basic commands today, and after learning some basic commands, then we will go further into the AWS concepts, networking concepts. Now, what I am going to do here is I will deploy an EC2 instance in my AWS account in any Linux EC2 instance, and after that, we will be discussing about some of the concepts. Any queries you want to ask me, you can ask me right now. Again, before, like, it will take some time to deploy this. Anyways, before it gets deployed, I just want to ask you any queries. Like, sir, I am from engineering background. I am from Tripoli. I am from mechanical. Am I eligible to learn the course? Everyone can learn the course. So if you have the basic understanding about the computer, so the computer is made up of CPU, RAM, and hard disk, and how computer works. If you understand that, then yes, you are eligible for learning this AWS course. Okay. So on next. Okay. Hold on. Placements nowadays openings are there, but the candidates are not there. So every company is asking for the highest knowledge people, but unfortunately, companies are unable to find out the people. So it is your responsibility. I will try. I will tell you. I will provide you the resumes, and I will tell you how to upload the resumes and all the things. But it is your responsibility to get placed. Okay. So after uploading the resumes, interview process and all the things. So I want to tell you this also. So after completion of this course, please try to learn DevOps course also. I'm not forcing you to learn DevOps. Why? Because if I force you that, that will be like you can think this is a economical strategy, but no. Why? Because majority of the companies, if you go to the Naukri, or else if you go for Indeed portal, or else if you go for any another portal. If you see here, I'll go with AWS key skills. And if I go as a fresher, and select a fresher, and I want to search the entire location. Just I'm showing you the base. See here, graduate training AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. If you see here, they are asking for the cloud computing, IaaS, and Microsoft Azure. They want to have the AWS preferred certification, AWS solution architect. If you complete the certification, then you are having a opportunity. Now required skills, key skills, infrastructure as a code. So you need to learn Terraform and Ansible. The first concept itself, they have given Terraform and Ansible. And Kubernetes, Docker administration, EKS and ECS would be added advantage for you. Knowledge on basic cloud languages like Python and HTML and JavaScript. This is what they are asking. And responsibility, CI/CD pipelining tool. So this can be happens with the Jenkins only. So only AWS will not give you the job, guys. So I recommend you to learn both AWS and DevOps. And if you see here, the other one is DevOps engineer, AWS DevOps engineer. Here also they are requesting you to have the basic knowledge about the essential skills, AWS and DevOps, EKS, Terraform, account management, DevOps experience with S3 backup security. So everywhere, whatever the job opportunity that you are looking, so everyone are asking for the DevOps only. So they are including AWS. They are including AWS with the DevOps. So my recommendation is that you need to have the both knowledges. With only AWS knowledge, you can get 10% of the jobs. But if you want to increase the number of calls for you, then definitely you need to have the basics of DevOps also. So I recommend you to learn the DevOps. So that is what I want to say. And placement assistance. I cannot say that I will provide you the placement assistance. Why? Because it is a fake promise. Okay. So we will provide the training for you. It is your responsibility to get the jobs. That is what I can say. Okay. I will not give a fake commitment that yes, I will provide you the placements. You can have your placement after the completion of the course. No. So it is your responsibility to clear out the course, understand the course, and you have to get the job. So we will provide any assistance if you want. I can provide in the later on things, but that is altogether a different thing. This is not included in the course. Yes. So the course, whatever we are providing you, so the training that we are providing you, you have to understand that. Anyways, coming back to the next one.
Sir, one question.
Mhm.
Like this AWS weekend batch, are you also going to conduct a weekend batch for DevOps? Or is there any weekend batch for DevOps?
That I will discuss in the later on, last of the session. I just want to introduce one of the things. So if possible, I will say you in the last of the session. Okay. Yes. When you coming back to the next one, sudo su hyphen. So this is your Linux operating system. First, we will go through the Linux, and then once you understand the Linux, then we can go for the AWS. I will discuss about the DevOps in the later on thing. Okay. But as of now, try to understand this AWS. Coming back to this, yeah, this is your Linux operating system where we are going to learn some of the Linux concepts. What are the concepts that we are about to learn? Now, when you're coming back, if at all, this is the Linux console, whichever you are looking into, this is the Linux console, this is the Linux terminal that you are looking. Here, you need to understand a basic thing that, so this is the bash shell. So shells, there are several types of shells. One is normal shell, or else what I can say shell, burn shell, that is SH. If you see here, what I can say is echo. I'll simply give it as a $4 shell. If I give this, come on. Now you can see what is the shell that you are using. You are using bin bash. Okay. So there are so many types of shells. Now you need to understand what is this shell, how Linux operating system will work for the users. Okay. Whenever you are configuring any Linux operating system, whenever you are trying to provide any commands, how commands will be executed, what is the operating system. So all these things I would like to introduce, and later on we will go further into the Linux concept. So here you need to understand what is meant by a shell. Before that, you need to understand what are the components and how operating system will be working, and then how a user can interact with the Linux operating system and all things. Now, when you're coming back to this, first of all, what is meant by an operating system? Everyone knows about this, but before that, first I would like to understand what is meant by software. So what is meant by a software? I think there are so many software engineers out there. So can you explain me? This is the what I can say. This is the first class concept that you are in, that you are understanding. Software. So software is a set of programs. The combination of multiple programs is called as a software. And what is meant by a program? Program is a set of instructions. So provided by the or else written by the programmer. So a software is a set of programs. In this software, we are having two types of software. One is system software and the other one is application software. So system software and application software. Okay. These are the two types of software that we are having. Among those, system software means the software that helps the users to communicate with the hardware. Okay, so what are the software that helps the users to communicate with the hardware? So what are the different hardware resources you are having? So among those, the hardware resources are CPU, memory in the sense RAM. Okay, and there are two types of memories. One is primary memory and the other one is secondary memory. So memory is for storing the data. So there are two types. One is primary memory, that is RAM. It is a temporary memory. RAM is a temporary memory. When you shut down the system, automatically the data inside the RAM will be deleted. When you're coming back to the next one, the secondary memory, that is hard disk. I will say that it is not a permanent storage, but yes, the data will be stored unless you delete the data. So if you delete the data, obviously the data is getting deleted. It is not like a completely permanent storage. So if you delete the data, then also the data won't be deleted. I will not say that, but yes, in the hard disk, the data will be stored if you shut down the system also. So these are the resources that we are having, and then we can have the input and output devices like keyboard, mouse, monitor, and all the things. These are all the things that you know about this input output devices. So a system software is a software that helps the users to communicate with the resources, whatever the resources that you are having. So the best examples of the system softwares are OS, okay, operating system, and drivers. Whatever the drivers that are installed in your computer, all those drivers are helpful for you to make the communication with the devices. Now, the first thing is OS. What is meant by a OS? OS, operating system, is an interface to make the communication between the user and the resources. Now, when you're coming back to this OS, again, what I'm saying, OS is an interface between the user and the resources. Now, resources will not understand the user language and user cannot understand the resource language. Now, if you see here, the user is trying to send some data. The user is trying to send some data to my CPU or else RAM to process that data. These are the resources that you are having inside your computer. And in between that, we can have an operating system. So what this operating system will do? So whenever the user sends any data, if the user wants to process any data, the user will send the request to that particular operating system. The operating system will transfer the data towards my resources, whatever the computer resources I am having, either it might be CPU and RAM, hard disk, and whatever. So the main process will be happen through the processor, whatever the microprocessor that we are having. So into that microprocessor, we will send all the instructions, whatever the instructions that we require to execute. All the instructions will be sent to the processor. Now the processor will process the data and provide the required output. So a computer or else a CPU, central processing unit, is a microchip. It is a small microprocessor. Whenever we send the input to the processor, it will process the data and provide the output for the user. So you can apply the same concept for your computer definition also. A computer is a electronic device which will take the input from the user and provides the desired output for the user. This is the basic definition you are learning from the from the childhood itself. So yes, so this is about your operating system. So whenever user requests any data, operating system will forward the user required data to the devices. Why? Because devices cannot understand the user language. So the user language might be English, or else he will be if at all he is a French, he can use the French language, German language, like that. So, but the operating system will not understand the human readable languages. So operating system will sorry, the devices, whatever the resources that we are having, resources cannot understand the human readable language. They will understand only one language, that is binary language. So that is ones and zeros. So whatever the computers that you are having, computers can only understand the binary language. So now who will convert this human readable language into the binary languages? So the operating system, inside the operating system, we will have so many binaries, so that whatever the user data that we are sending, all this user data will be converted into the binary format and sent to the resources. So this is what an operating system is all about. Now, whenever we are doing the same, so inside the operating system, we will have a specialized program called as kernel. So this kernel, what is this kernel? So the kernel will help the operating system to make the communication with the hardware devices. So inside the operating system, or else with the operating system, there is another program called as kernel. So this kernel is helpful for the operating system to to specify which process has to go first, how much amount of memory, how much amount of RAM should be occupied by the application, and what is the time to process that particular application. All these things like process management, memory management, and service management, everything will be configured by the kernel itself. So kernel is very, very important. Kernel is very, very important. It is like a backbone for your operating system. Without kernel, any operating system cannot be developed. So kernel is a basic component for to develop the operating system. So the combination of operating system and the combination of operating system softwares, whatever the multiple softwares that you are having inside the operating system, the combination of operating system and kernel gives you the complete operating system. Only without kernel you cannot develop the operating system. So this kernel is majorly holding the what I can say, holding the things. It is going to hold the management things. Whatever the process management we want to do, which process has to go first, which process has to go next, and how much time the process has to take, and what is how much amount of RAM can be occupied by an application, and at what time the output will be provided. Everything will be held by this kernel only. So kernel is very, very important. Now, whenever the Linux is about to finish its work, so first of all, I want to say you how Linux was introduced. Before Linux, there is a operating system called as Unix. So which is developed by uh, which is developed in Bell Labs. Okay, by Ken Thompson and Dennis Ritchie. So these are the two persons who has developed this Unix. Among those, you are having a team of people, 5 to 6 people are there. Among those, these two names are very popular. One is Ken Thompson, and the other one is Dennis Ritchie. These are the two guys who has developed this Linux operating system. Okay, I hope you know about Dennis Ritchie. Do you know about who is this Dennis Ritchie? Yeah. Can anybody say who is this Dennis Ritchie? Anyways, that is out of the topic. When we coming back to this, yeah, somebody is trying to say.
Inventor of C language.
Exactly. Dennis Ritchie is the person who is the father of C language. Simply, I can say he is an inventor of C language. So these two persons, whoever are the Ken Thompson and Dennis Ritchie, they collaborated with each other and they developed a special programming operating system that is called as Unix operating system by including C language into this. So the Unix operating system was developed. The source code of this Unix language is C language only. So with the C language, they have developed this operating system. And what is the operating system they developed here? They developed the Unix operating system. Okay. Once they develop the Unix operating system, the world of IT has changed. The complete world of IT has changed. So everybody are very happy to communicate with the software. They are very happy with to communicate with the application. It has become very easy for the people to communicate with the resources. Now, after developing the Unix operating system, So they made the Unix operating system as a premium operating system, which means that if you want to install the Unix operating system in the computer, then you have to pay for the company, either it might be Bell Labs or also any company. So what happened here when they want to when they asked for the payment, now there is a person called as Richard Stallman. There is a person called as Richard Stallman. He turned against that. So why he turned against that, buddy? Okay, fine. The point here is we are purchasing the hardware. We are purchasing the hardware in the sense we are purchasing my uh, uh, processor, RAM, hard disk, whatever the components, monitor, keyboard, mouse, whatever the components that we want to run the computer. We are purchasing all that. Then again, why I have to purchase operating system also. Operating system should be included with the components itself. Then unfortunately, we are not getting that. We have to purchase. I am not going to approve this. So I will develop my own operating system. So he started his own operating system and he named that operating system as GNU. There is no particular abbreviation. GNU in the sense GNU, not Unix. This is the thing. So when he tried to develop the operating system, he failed at developing the kernel. He has developed the beautiful operating system with all the packages that he want to install, like whatever the packages that he want to develop the operating system. He has developed each and every content into that, each and every software package into that. But the backbone is like he failed to develop the kernel. So this is all happened in 1980s. He failed to develop the kernel. But in 1991, there is a person called as Linus Torvalds. Okay, he developed the kernel. He developed a particular kernel for the Linux operating system, which is like Unix-like kernel, but it is not in Unix. So he developed the kernel. So the integration between this GNU and the Linux kernel made the first Linux operating system. So the first Linux operating system which was built is like GNU/Linux operating system, and everyone said that it is an Unix operating system only. It is a copy of Unix operating system. So then the Linus Torvalds has declared that it is not an Unix operating system. It is Unix-like operating system. It might be looking like Unix, but it is not Unix operating system. So this is how the Linux operating system was introduced into the world, which is completely free. Why we are going for the Linux operating system? The first thing is Linux operating system is free of cost except Red Hat Linux and SUSE Linux. So these two are premium versions which you have to pay for the customer services, not for the operating system. Whatever the services that you are going to get from the Red Hat, whatever the customer services that you are getting from the Red Hat. If you have any problem, you can directly call to the Red Hat Corporation, or else you can mail to the Red Hat Corporation, and you can sort out the issues. To provide that customer services, they are charging. And SUSE is also a premium version. These are the two premium versions that we are having. Remaining, whatever the Linux operating systems that you are accessing, all the Linux operating systems are free of cost. This is the first reason why majority number of people are moving towards Linux than the Windows and Mac. And the second one is it is an open source operating system. Open source means whatever the source code that you are using for this Linux operating system is completely available for the each and everyone, publicly disposed. So which means that anyone can access that Linux operating system. Now here, if you see, Linux operating system is also generated with the help of the source code with the C language as a source code. C and C++, I think. No, C language itself with the C language and additional assembly level languages like Pascal and all the things. So with the help of these two languages, the kernel was developed. Simply, if you are very good at C languages, you can download the source code and you can access the concept. So you can modify the source code and you can generate your own Linux operating system. I don't know, at some point of time, each and every company will have their own Linux operating system. So that is another reason why majority number of the companies are looking forward for the Linux operating system. First one is free of cost, the second one is open source, and the third one is it is more secure than the Windows operating system. Linux operating system is completely CLI. CLI means there are two types of interfaces where the user can interact. So the first one is GUI, or else I can call it as GUI. GUI in the sense graphical user interface. So Windows is completely GUI. So whenever user want to interact with the operating system, the operating system will be shown with the icons and some special images and all the things. So that is graphical user interface. When you're coming back to the CLI means command line interface. CLI means command line interface. The user can interact with the operating system through the commands, not with the graphics. For example, if I want to open any particular application, simply I will click on this. So automatically the application will be open. So this can be happen. I can see my cursor is moving. So everything is graphically visible to me. But when you're coming to this command line, if you want to know what are the different files that are available, you have to provide some commands. Okay, and like this, you have to provide some commands to know what are the different objects. If you want to open any object. So if you want to open any object also, then you need to provide certain command. So this is the reason why Linux is stand out from all other operating systems. Now, these are all the concepts that make the Linux stand out of all other operating systems. First one is free of cost. The second one is open source, and the third one is the high security. Whenever you go for the CLI, so if you want to open anything, you need to have the command for that to open that particular file. So if you don't know the command, then definitely you are not eligible to open that particular file. So commands are necessary. Permissions you need to have. There is two levels of permissions. One is user level permissions, and the other one is SC Linux. SC Linux in the sense security enhanced Linux is there. So this is also required to provide the permissions for your files. So these are all the concepts which made the Linux stand out of all other systems. So that is the reason why majority number of the companies, why majority number of the workloads, like either like somewhere like 90% of the companies are requesting to have their workloads on the Linux operating system. And there is huge opportunities when you go outside of this, when you complete the course and when you are trying to go for the job opportunities, majority number of the companies are requesting the candidate to have the basic knowledge on Linux operating system, including the cloud operating systems. I mean, cloud computing things. So here you need to have the basic understanding about this Linux operating system and Linux commands. So this is the opportunities, and 90% of the companies are requesting the candidates to have the Linux knowledge, and as well as among that 90%, majority of the companies are saying 70 to 80% of the companies are saying that we have huge openings, but we are unfortunately we are unable to find out the proper candidates for that. So yes, so there are several candidates who know the Linux language, sorry, Linux operating system. But here the problem is they know only the basic Linux language or Linux operating system. They don't know in-depth analysis or else in-depth knowledge on Linux operating system. So that is the reason there are openings, but they are unable to find the candidates. And you have to think like this. There are majority number of the companies are having so many opportunities. In the cloud platform, they are having huge openings right now from March to April as they are in US. Layoffs are going, as well as in India also layoffs are going. So there are majority number of the companies have the requirements for the candidates, for the proper candidates. Whoever has the knowledge, they are requesting the candidate to send the resumes. There are huge openings for you, but you need to have the specific skill what they request. So without the specific skills, obviously the companies are also not going to recruit you. So openings are there, but desired candidates are not there. Candidates are not there with the desired knowledge. So my recommendation is that try to gain the knowledge. Definitely you will get a job within 2 to 3 months. Anyways, coming back to this Linux operating system, we are discussing about this. When we come back to this, we are discussing about GUI and CLI, why we have to go for the Linux operating system. And when you coming back to this Linux operating system, what is meant by an operating system? An operating system is an interface between the user and the hardware. And what is meant by a kernel? Kernel is an interface between the operating system and the hardware. So once we understand this, then how user will interact with the operating system, In the graphical user interface, you won't find a concept called as shell. Shell means, but in Linux operating system, there is a concept called as shell. This shell will send the user data, will send the user given commands to the operating system and operating system binaries, and from the operating system binaries, the data will be sent to the kernel, and kernel will send the data towards your hardware. So shell is an interactive, interactive terminal for the user to interact with the operating system. So now, so for example, I will give a command like print working directory. So if I give pwd, I'm getting the output as root. So what is this pwd? How I am giving that? When I give any command pwd, so I am interacting with my shell. So I am interacting with my shell. Whenever I am giving the command, I am interacting with the shell. The shell will forward this command to my operating system binaries. So in any operating system, you can find bin directory. What is this bin directory? Inside the bin directory, it is not recycle bin. It is recycle bin is different and bin directory is different. Bin is a directory where you can have the binaries. What are these binaries? Binaries are the compiled code for your executable commands. Whatever the executable commands are there, here I am having pwd. So this is an executable command. This command will be converted into the binary format. So binaries in the sense compiled code will be there inside the binary. Can anybody say what is meant by compiling? I think every so here there are so many developers are there. Guys, I am a system administrator. I don't know pretty much about the development procedures and all the things. I just want to say you openly. I want to say you openly that I am not a developer. I am a system administrator. I have 10 years of experience in the system administration field. So how servers can be deployed, what is meant by networking, and how servers can be created, data centers work, all the things I know. But I am not a good developer. I don't know the Python language. I don't know the C language. I have a basic understanding about the C language as I learned in my engineering days. I have a basic knowledge on C language, but I am not a very good developer. I'm a very good system administrator. I can proudly say myself as a good system administrator. I'm not a good developer. Anyways, coming back to this, what I am asking here is, what is meant by compiling? Can anybody say? Compiling or compiled code. I think you will be going across these terms in your concepts. Okay, so can anybody say what is meant by compiling?
Yeah, compilation is the process of generating the source code into machine understandable code. Like the user is or developer is developing the code using, let's say, C language or Java language, which is called higher level language, that will be converted through the compilation process into the machine understandable language, that is binary language.
Exactly. So the conversion of the source code or else the conversion of human readable language into the binary language is called as compiling. So I know that there are so many engineers out there, not only engineers, any degree graduate, whoever have completed their course in C language. Why? Because when I attend to the interviews, when I attend for an interview, I attend in the sense when I'm taking an interview, I will see here majority number of the resumes will come like having knowledge on C, C++, and Java. So not the majority of the resumes. In all resumes, I can see these three concepts: C, C++, Java, known languages. So everyone will write that. So here, whoever has completed the C language, they will understand first before executing the code. They will compile the code. At the compilation, they will find out some errors. So here, what is meant by compiling? Compiling means converting the user understandable language, converting the higher level languages into the binary format. So mission understandable language is called as compiling. So in the same manner, here, whenever we give any command like pwd or else ls or else mkdir like that, if I give any command, this command will be compiled. We will have a binary directory. If you see here, cd bin. If I go to the bin directory, if you see here, there are so many executable commands. These are all the compiled code. The bin directory will have all the binaries which has to be executed. Whenever the user send a command, the command will trigger a binary here. So if you see ls is a binary where you can see here, ls, what I can do, grep -w -w ls. If I say this, there is a command called as ls in this directory. If I go for grep-w mkdir, if I give like this, mkdir is also the command that is included in this directory. And if I go for rmdir or else user add, so user add command is not there. Like that, you can see whatever the commands that you want, whatever the commands that you are triggering, each and every command is available inside my bin directory. Inside the bin directory, whatever the binaries that you are having inside the bin directory, all the binaries are the compiled code. So here a shell will interact with the user and sends the code towards and sends the command towards the binary directory, and inside the binary directory I will have the compiled code, and these binaries are forwarded to my processing. Okay, so then only I will get the output. So this is how you are going to generate your outputs. So when you coming back to this, what are the different basic commands that we have to learn? So each and everyone will say you that pwd and all the things. First of all, you need to understand this. So whatever the command prompt, this is called as prompt. Whatever the thing that you are looking here, this is called as prompt. Okay, the prompt is with, so who is the user that is logged into your system, which is the user that is logged into your system, and the next one is, this is your system name. This is your system name, and this is your working directory. So where currently user is working. So this will gives you the working directory. And if you see here, hash is there. Hash means the administrator who is logged into the system. The administrator has logged into your system. And if you see here, you are having dollar symbol. When you see the dollar symbol over here, dollar symbol, then it represents that he is a normal user. So if you see hash symbol, he is a system administrator, he is a root user. And when you see the dollar symbol, I can specifically say that he is a normal user. And here you can see a symbol like whale. This is called as tilde. So tilde symbol represents that the current home directory of the user. So every user will have a home directory. Whenever the user logged into the system, he will be logging into his home directory. So the tilde will represent the home directory of the user. So if I want to log in as a user, the command that I need to provide here is sudo su hyphen in the sense switch user. So I want to switch user as a root user. So I will be logging into the root user now. Now the basic command is that what is my present working directory? If you see here, there is a tilde symbol. So where the user is located, if you give the command pwd, so actually everyone will say that pwd means present working directory. Actually, the meaning of pwd is print working directory. Print the current working directory on the console. If you see here, I am going to get the current working directory where the user is working. So the root user is working in his home directory. What is the home directory of the root user? The home directory of the root user is /root. Now, before going further into the commands, more commands, I would like to tell you about the Linux hierarchy. What is this Linux hierarchy? Linux hierarchy in the sense how users, what are the different folders that are available inside my Linux operating system. So what I will do here is I will go to the root operating system. If you see here, there are so many directories that are available. One is bin, boot, dev, etc, home, libraries, local, media, mount, op, proc. Like this, we are having so many directories. Among those, I will give some of the briefings. I will not cover all the directories, but yes, I will give you some of the important directories. I will brief you about some of the important directories so that you can have a clear-cut understanding. Now, when you see here you can see slash. The slash means root directory. So root directory is different and root users directories is different. Both are different. Don't get confused. If I give the pwd command here, it is showing only slash symbol. So what is this slash symbol represent? Now, whenever you are logging into any operating system, first you will be launching, or else first you will be entering into the main folder or else main directory. So here the main directory is the root directory, that is slash. Okay, whatever you are seeing here, you are able to see the slash symbol. So what is this slash represent? The slash represents the root directory. Root directory is different and root users directory is different. Don't get confused between the both. Okay. And the next one is after logging into an operating system, So inside the root directory, you will have /bin /dev, like that you will be having so many directories /boot. Okay. So we will discuss about that, but first of all, you need to understand the bin directory. Inside this bin directory, whatever the compiled code, whatever the compiled binaries that we are having, each and every binary will be available inside this bin directory. From the root directory, the user, whenever the user gives the command will forward to the bin directory. Actually, whatever the bin directory that you are seeing, it is not the original bin directory that is located inside the root directory. Actually, it is a link for another directory. So if you see here, LL, see there, it is pointing towards another directory in the another folder. If you see here, there is another folder called as user bin. To this, it is pointing. So which means that it is a link directory. There are two types of links in the Linux operating system. One is soft link and the other one is hard link. We will discuss about that. But as of now, if you see, the bin directory is pointing towards another directory, which means that whatever the directory that you are seeing in your root directory, that is not the original directory. It's a shortcut. It is just like a shortcut, or else it is a soft link. I can simply call it as a soft link for the directory user bin directory. Inside the user directory, you are having a directory called as bin directory. Now, first of all, you need to understand the color combination. If you see, whatever the dark blue color things are there, these are all the directories. Directories are nothing but, in Linux language, those are the folders are called as directories. Whatever the directories I am calling, if I'm specifying anything as a directory, it is like a folder where we can store all our files. Now, this sky blue color thing or else light blue color, these are the link files. These are all the soft link files. And this is the temporary directory where the data will be stored temporarily. After the reboot of your system, automatically the data will be removed from this temporary directory. And if at all, if there is any file, touch DURGASOFT. If I give like this, now if you see here, there is a file in the normal text format. What are the files that you are seeing with the normal color? Then I can call this as a file. And there are some files. If I go to cd/bin, if I enter into that and if I give the command like this ll, so here you can see all the green color. These green color will represent those are the executable files, which can be execute the files to get some program. Okay, to get some output, we will execute this program. Okay, these are the executable files. So you need to understand the color convention also. So one is dark blue, that represents the directories. Normal color will represent the file, and the green color will represent the executable files, and light blue color will represent the link files. So color convention is also important in Linux operating system. Once we have completed this color conversion and all the things, now let us jump back to our normal conditions, normal topic that we are discussing. So bin directory will have all the executables to run your commands. And the second one is, here you are having one more directory, that is boot directory. Here you are having the boot directory. What will be there inside this boot directory? The boot directory will consisting of all the bootable files, all the startup files, whatever the files that are required to turn on your operating system to run all the applications. Whenever you turn on the operating system, all those commands and all those files are available inside this boot directory. So all the bootable files that are required to run the operating system are available inside the boot directory. And the next one is dev directory. What is this dev directory? Dev directory, in the sense, the other name for dev directory is the devices directory. So whatever the devices that are connected to your computer, or else whatever the devices that are connected to your server, all those devices will be stored in the file format. All the devices are stored inside the inside my server in the form of file format. For example, let me show you one thing. So, and in Linux, everything is called as a file, guys. So whatever you are using, either it might be a normal file, it is called as a file. Directories are also called as files. Block devices are also called as files. Those are called as block files. Like that, each and everything is called as a file. Now, what I will do here is, I want to show you ls, or else I will go with ll/bin. I want to get all or else not bin. I want to get all the devices in the dev directory. So if you see, there are so many devices. Among those devices, I want what I will do here is, I want the block devices. I want the block devices. So what I will do here is grep -w. If I give B, or else if I give like what I can say SDA. If I give like this, see that I am having SDA. So there is a what I can say, there is a device called as SDA. SDA means the block devices. So whatever the devices that are connected, so let me connect like this. I will connect one more hard disk to my server. So how to connect this? First of all, I will create a hard disk. You will learn about all those things. Just I want to show you how the devices are shown in the dev directory. So that is the reason I am showing you this. So I'm going to create a hard disk and I will connect the hard disk to my server. I'll give 2 GB of hard disk. That's more than enough. And create the volume. So the volume is created and I am going to connect this volume to my server. So actions. If I attach the volume to my server, attach volume, and to which server I want to attach to my Linux operating system, whatever running, to attach the volume. So when I attach the volume here, if you see previously, I can see only SD, or else I will go with the only SD if I want SD. So ls/dev. I will go to the what are the contents that are available in the dev directory. If you see here, there is SDA and SDA1 and SDF. Okay, so these are the contents that are available. Let me do one thing. Grep SD. If I give like this, see that previously I have only SDA and SDA1. Now currently I have my SDF. If I detach this, now let me do one thing. I will go back and I will select this 2 GB of directory or else 2 GB of hard disk and I will detach this hard disk. Let me detach that. So detach the volume. When I detach the volume, again if I run the command, see there I can see only SDA and SDA1 and I am unable to check the SDF file, which means that whatever the files that are connected to the, so I can simply say that whatever the files or else whatever the devices that are connected to your server, each and every device will be available in the dev directory. To prove that I have shown you this. Okay, inside your dev directory, all the devices that are connected will be shown. And one more thing here is, here you can see standard input, standard output, and standard error. So these are the some functions or these are some programs. Whenever you give any input that is called as standard input, and if whatever the output that you are getting, that is the standard output. At any point of time, if at all, if it is showing any error, that is the standard error. And here you can see TTY, TTY1, TTY12 like this. You are having TTY. What is this TTY? TTY means terminal teletype. So whatever the terminal that you are accessing, whatever the console that you are accessing, that comes under the TTY concept. If I have to show you, I will simply give TTY. So you can see what is this TTY, what is this terminal teletype? If you see here, this is the console, whichever you are accessing is located in dev directory. Inside this dev directory, if you go to the PTS directory, inside this, the console identification is 0. This console identification is 0. So I will do one thing. I will go for ls or else I will go to the cd/dev. Inside the dev directory, if I give the ls command, here you can see PTS. There is a directory called as PTS. When I go to the directory PTS, inside the PTS, you can see I am having 0. Now, when I open another console of the same server, if I go back and give the command as ls again, see here, I got 1. Previously, I used to have 0 only. Why? Because I am having a single console or a single terminal. So it is providing the identification for this single console as 0. But when I open the second console, it is showing me 1. I have opened the second console, so it is showing me the 1. Now, if I open the another console, if I open the another console of the same server, here it is going to show me three consoles are open. So which means that whatever the console that is open, so all the console related information is also stored in the dev directory. So from here, it is very clear that we can access all our consoles, whatever the consoles that we are using. So console related information is also available in the dev directory. So this is about your bin directory, boot directory, and dev directory. And the next one is /root directory. We need to understand one more thing, that is /root directory. What is this /root directory? So /root directory is a directory where the root users data will be available. Root users files will be available. For example, you are the owner of your company. Whenever there is a owner for the company, the owner will have his own cabin. So the owner will have his own cabin. Whenever the owner is having his own cabin, and he will have all his files, nobody is authorized to enter into the owner's cabin. So only the owner, or else only the CEO, or else only the MD can enter into the cabin. But no another employees are allowed to enter into the cabin and access the files. In the same manner, inside this root directory, just understand this root directory is your company directory. Inside this root directory, you are having the owner directory, that is /root, whatever the administrator directory is there. So inside the /root directory, you will have all the files and folders that are given for the root user. So here, all the files and folders are accessible by the administrator only. No another person is capable of entering into the root directory. They don't have the authorization to enter into the root directory. So this is about this is the root directory. / means root directory, and /root means root users directory. So you need to understand root users home directory. You need to understand the basic concept. Here, don't get confused between / and /root. Both are different. / means that it belongs to the computer. /root means it belongs to the user. Okay. And then you are having another directory, that is /home. There is another directory called as /home. This /home directory, whatever the /home directory that we are having, this is the home directory for the users. Whoever the users that are created inside the servers, all those home directories are created inside this home directory. All those user required documents can be stored in the home directory. For example, let me do one thing. I will show you. If you see here, cd /home, I want to move to /home. If you see here, there is EC2 user. Now what I want to do here is I want to create a user add Chaitanya. So when I create the user, automatically, if you see here, another home directory will be created. If you see, Chaitanya home directory will be created. This is the home directory where this user, where Chaitanya's files and folders are defaultly stored. If I create another user add Kumar, if I give this and if I go back and say ls, see that Chaitanya EC2, and I have got my Kumar directory also. Currently, the user is located in the home directory. That is the reason when I give the command ls, automatically I can see what are the folders that are available inside this home directory. So you need to understand, you need to have the basic understanding about the home directory. What is the functionality of home directory? Home directory will store the files and folders that are belong to the particular users. Okay. So this is about your hierarchy, and there are so many directories that I want to say, but as of now, it has been a prolonged session for you. So as it is a demo session for you, I am stopping here about the Linux. Why, sir? You said this is a cloud class. Again, you are introducing yes, it is a cloud class, but you need to have the basic knowledge on Linux operating system. So I am introducing Linux operating system in between the cloud computing. So without Linux, without understanding the Linux operating system, it is pretty difficult for you to understand the cloud. So to make you understand about that, I'm just giving you a small basic concept. Tomorrow also you will have the session. It is also a demo session where we will be completing the session, where we will be completing the Linux operating system. Once the Linux operating system is completed, in the next session, in the next week, we will be completing the networking concepts. And then On Saturday, if possible, on Saturday, we will be completing the networking concept. From Sunday onwards, we will be starting the AWS concepts. Next week, Sunday onwards, AWS concepts will be started. Okay. I hope you understand this. Is there any queries that you want to ask me? Any queries? Okay, fine then. If there are no queries, I'm going to terminate the session. We'll meet in the next class at the same time. At 8 o'clock, we will meet. We will start the session, and we will complete the session by 9:30 or 10. That's all for today. Have a nice day. We'll meet in the next session, guys. Okay then. Bye, guys. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. Bye.